Thank you guys for tuning in to Not Very Radio. Today we are listening to Converge, Love Is Not Enough. This is my first taste into the Converge discography, the Converge world. My world and Converge's world are converging. I know they're a metal band. I know they were really popular. They had that one album in particular, Jane Doe, I believe is what it is. That like I've seen that album art like all over the place. So I know that one was absolutely huge. And this is their... Wait, they did something with Chelsea Wolfe? So it looks like it's some metalcore, hardcore punk stuff. That's some stuff I'm interested in. So I'm just excited to kind of get a taste of this. See what I've been missing all these years. See if it's worth going back. So let's go ahead, check out Love Is Not Enough, Converge, with song 1, Love Is Not Enough. I love that. I love that they put the title of the album song as the first one. Dude, it's got some energy to it. Loving that we're getting some guitar close. I'm hoping we'll get some really cool guitar work in this, though. Alright. Yeah, I think that was a really great opening track there. We might be transitioning. I'll just pause now. Sorry, I got a crack in my neck. Yeah, really great opening track. Lots of high energy, crazy drums going on, wild guitars. Yeah, I think this is so solid so far. I'm looking into, it looks like they got a whole bunch of little descriptions here on Apple Music for all the songs. The idea of being empathetic and compassionate and just trying not to get dragged down in the muck and mire of the modern world that surrounds us. It's a pretty universal message. You can't just say everything is sunny and awesome and bright and pure, because it's not. It's far from that. So there's a realism that I think sets a tone for the rest of the album. All right. Cool. Yeah, let's move on to track 2, Bad Faith. Okay. Well, it seems like the song's just about, like, you know, wanting to encourage someone, not wanting them to give up on themselves while they're going through something. So needing to, like, encourage them, I guess. I'm loving the guitar riff that they're doing there. Alright. Yeah, another pretty decent track. I don't think I was in love with that one as much. Nothing necessarily wrong with it. I don't think it had as much energy. Pretty solid track, some cool guitar riffs. I think there's a lot of meaning in the lyrics, especially because like the description in Apple Music kind of tells you a little bit more about them, which I think kind of helps in what they're going for. But there's no specific lyric that, you know, at least for this song, has like grabbed out at me, you know, where like you hear a lyric and you're like, wow, that makes me really feel something. But I do appreciate that they kind of put kind of what they're going for in this little Apple description thing here, because I think it helps me understand the song a lot more and kind of get more depth to it that maybe I'm not pulling myself, at least directly, from the lyrics. Really solid track. Let's move into Distract and Divide. Oh, but first, you know what? I put my most metalist looking shirt on today, which is my Remy Wolf Big Ideas shirt. You know, true metalhead really know who Remy Wolf is. But I digress. Distract and Divide, song 3. Only a minute and 31 seconds long. Looks like the next 2 tracks are going to be under 2 minutes long. So let's see what we're doing here. Had a feeling. I love the slowdown here. All right, yeah, really straight to the point. Had that nice little slower down part right there in the middle. That's something I appreciate. I think when I first started listening to some metalcore stuff, I didn't quite get it like years and years ago, but I've kind of grown to appreciate a lot. It's just like the time signature changes.
This idiot said time signature and not BPM.
For me, when I first kind of heard it, I was like, why are we just suddenly stopping and changing? Because for me, I always prefer more of like a build or like a transition from point A to point B. But I've grown to kind of appreciate how metalcore and a lot of those kind of like hardcore, I guess, as well, kind of just take that approach of just like they're just going and then they'll just like boop switch over to like the next part. And there are sometimes like slowdowns, but they're pretty sudden. Like when you do them, it's not like it's going from, hey, you're here and we're gonna take the next minute or two to get to the next point, like like some of the music that I listen to that's just like, yeah, we're here and we want to go here now. And I don't know, I think that's really fascinating. There's not a ton of other genres, I think, that really do stuff like that just like snap. Like, you're not listening to a pop song, at least that I can think of off the top of my head. Let me know, actually, if there's a comment below if there's like a pop song that kind of has like a structure like this almost, where it's like it's going and then you just like you get to the next verse or the chorus or bridge or something, and there's not really a slowdown. There's just a crazy speed up out of nowhere or a crazy like tempo change in some way, I guess. Song 4, To Feel Something, another song that's just under 2 minutes at 1:59. Ooh. I'm really little high-pitched screeches, dude. I'm a sucker for those. Yeah, this part's sick. I'm a big sucker for this, especially like the tom drums, man. Yeah, that was a great song. That might be my favorite so far. A little shorter than I typically go for, but again, when you're this fast-paced and high energy, I think you're alright with going a little shorter in these song lengths. But yeah, I absolutely loved that. The little ride bell hits during the one section, the toms are like, I'm a big drum guy. I love those high-pitched, unsettling like guitars that were going on. That one was awesome. Song 5, Beyond Repair. Oh, this one's an instrumental. One long dramatic take. Ooh. I love like the other guitar that's kind of chugging in the back. I'm loving the drums in here. What is that? Like it's a box thingy? No, okay. No transition. That's fine. Yeah, really great track. I kind of was hoping for a little bit more, especially from an instrumental. I saw in the little dialogue box, I guess the guitarist was saying like that guitar riff, just made him feel terrible about himself, which is a good way to describe it. But I do kind of wish we kind of built and extrapolated more. I didn't think there was a ton to that kind of happened. We had the more higher pitch kind of chug thing at one point, and we kind of went back to like a lower guitar chug. But I think I would have liked to see a bit more done in that track. I do appreciate though, like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of like frills and glamour, a lot of high production, just crap thrown on this. I don't want to say crap like it's a bad thing, but just like stuff, you know, like this is very much just these are the guitars, these are the vocals, these are the drums, these are the bass, and this is what you're getting. There's no like, doesn't seem like they're trying to make it sound bigger than it needs to be. It's just like, yeah, these are the guitars, and you can feel it from the instruments we're playing. We don't need, you know, all these ridiculous, crazy additive effects to be put on in post-production and layers and this and that. And I really appreciate that, especially nowadays. I feel like with a lot of music, and don't get me wrong, I love just, you know, stuff thrown over top and loud. And you know, I listened to the Fentanyl recently. I love like that kind of stuff. But it's nice to be able to just kind of like pull back and be like, we're a metal band that's using like instruments. Let's not try to, you know, let's not try to add more than we need to, kind of thing. And I appreciate that a lot. Song 6, Amon Amok. Let me read this. Does that mean something? Oops, hold on. There we go. I wanted to get that first snare hit there. I'm really digging the riffs on this one. Maybe it's just that I have a couple songs and now I'm getting in the feel of it. But like this one's feeling really brutal, really angry. Oh, I love like the guitar in the left ear that's like going up higher, being more like harmonic. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love those chugs there. Yeah, man. That one was great. I love that one. I'm wondering if like these next couple, I mean all these, outside of the next song actually, that one's 2 minutes and something seconds, but the last 3 songs are all over 4 minutes long. I'm curious to see how they kind of change up the pacing and the structure of them, if they do at all. But that was a great song. I absolutely loved that one. The riffs, man, were just chugging and heavy. That one was great. That one might be going on the playlist too. Also, apologies to any actual like metalhead, metalcore fans, because I know there's like some terminology that's used a lot, I think, in that kind of scene when it comes to certain guitars or tones or chords. I don't know the terminology, so if you hear me saying something and I'm not saying it right, I'm sorry. Song 7, Force Meets Present. Okay, hold on. Ooh, that little like slide down. Yeah, I'm loving like the brutality that these songs are bringing and the energy. All right, yeah. Another great track, man. That one's brutal, right to the point. It makes me a little like, I'm loving like these shorter ones that just kind of like go in, have that high energy, brutal, go from one point to the next. I'm curious how these last 3 tracks being over 4 minutes is going to handle. If maybe they'll change pace at all, or if it'll just be the same thing, but we're kind of sticking with them a little longer. Gilded Cage, song number 8. Let's get into this. Ooh. Yeah, we're definitely going at a different pace than like the other shorter songs. I'm loving that bass, man. Yeah, this section's great, especially. I love like these kind of moments where like it feels like it's just brooding, building tension. So when eventually they do want to build and explode, they can. Yeah, and I love the way it kind of like builds and calms back down there with the, especially like the guitar in the right ear, that like higher one. Drums are killing it right now, man. Yeah, instrumentally, this thing is awesome, man. Like, the guitar in the right ear and like the bass, man. I mean, everything really. The drums, like. Yeah, excellent. Especially, again, I love that little, like, instrumental passage that was in that middle, that, I guess, bridge section, maybe you'd call it. I just thought that was absolutely excellent. I loved kind of them taking the time to be a bit slower here and be more brooding, so when they could kind of get to that chorus part, it could be a bit louder and heavier and brutal. That was... sorry, cracking my back. That was an excellent song. Song number 9, yeah, Make Me Forget You. I love how the drums are just going, but he's hitting different cymbals. Like the kick and snare just kind of go in there, and you kind of move over to like the ride bell or something. Yeah, I'm loving the pace of this one, and I'm loving how it just seems like, at least right now, it seems like pretty straightforward, like how it's going and how it's paced. And what an awesome first half of the song there, man. The super high energy, just constantly just pumping, moving forward. This one definitely feels the most like emotional throughout like all of them, at least in my opinion. Especially with just how it's structured. You had that very fast-paced part, and then they pull back, where it's just like the drums and the vocals. Man, that was great. I think, you know, sometimes certain bands can fall into a pocket of just like doing the same thing instrumentally, and I love that they're changing these up and keeping things interesting, even this late in the album listing. Because yeah, this song was amazing. I love the speed and, you know, adrenaline of the first half, and I love that little pullback there. Nice long little fade out here. I'm curious what we're getting here on this last one. 'Cause, I mean, you almost feel like they could have ended there. Oh, and that was the longest track as well. Sorry, I'm gonna pause now. I doubt it. Doesn't seem like they're doing transitions, but I don't like it when it cuts. Song number 10, We Were Never the Same. Let's just get right into song 10 then. We Were Never the Same. I'm actually like really excited to hear this last song now. So I'm just gonna let this song 9 here fade. Oh, we do kind of transition there. Wow, okay. Yeah, I think we haven't even heard guitars kind of like in this kind of tone, in this kind of way in this album yet so far. I'm really digging this, and again, just how they're kind of keeping things fresh. Yeah, dude, man, these guitars are great. I keep saying that, but I mean, again, I love that that's kind of all there is, right? Like, they're not trying to add all these swells and other sounds to try to, they're just to the point metal, which is great. Alright, yeah, another great song. I will say, just to kind of get, I guess, the bad stuff out of the way first, I do think the song before it had a lot more weight in it and a lot more, like, emotionality in it, and I think, like, that maybe would have been a better... I get that this last song here kind of, like, takes the idea that we were kind of getting in Song 9 and expanding upon it, but I think Song 9 might have made for a better closer, but maybe they didn't want to end on, like, an emotion, like, that kind of note. Maybe they kind of wanted to go back to more of the heavy, brutal stuff that we kind of had throughout the rest of the album. I'm not sure. I just think, I don't know. Again, like, I heard Song 9, I'm like, man, this would have been, like, a way to end it, man. Like, with the, but, yeah, no, outside that, though, great guitars here. I loved the, what we were kind of doing here. I almost felt like it was pinging off of, like, what the right ear was doing a little bit, too. And the yeah, man, I mean, that song was just brutal. And, like, the guitars there were, like, hooky in a way. Like, again, like, I just did, like, the little riff thing for it in my head. It's like it's stuck in my head a little bit. I think that one was really great. But lyrically, I wasn't super. And I think, again, especially compared off to Song 9, I was expecting a little bit more to feel more weight. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just not how I prefer lyrics to be written. A really great album. Really great rock. Metalcore is what it's listed under here on Album of the Year. I don't know all the different ones, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not into the metal scene a whole bunch. I like to try to do, I have some friends that are really into metal, and actually recently I did a little podcast thing with them where we talked about the whole discography of August Burns Red, so I got to listen to all of that. So that's like one of my biggest kind of intros into, I guess, the metalcore scene, as well as maybe some other artists as well. But this was a really great and refreshing listen. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed just kind of how we just kind of came back to, like, the core of just, like, these are the instruments that we're getting, and this is kind of what we're doing. It didn't feel like they were trying to make it sound, like, bigger than it needs to. I guess, like, for, like, the Poppy album, for example, not to throw shade at it, but, like, it definitely feels like they were trying to make it sound big, a little poppier, like high, or, like, you know, more grandiose, glossier kind of production. This didn't feel like it. It felt like they were just like, we just want to get some guitars that are heavy and brutal. We just want to get some riffs that are nasty, some crazy drums in there, and just scream over it. And that was really great. I think, you know, sometimes when it comes to metal, you don't need to put the gloss over it. You can just, it's metal for a reason. It's supposed to be heavy and gross and grah. I think the only song I wasn't that huge on was that instrumental one. I think I would have liked a little bit more from it. Let me know what you guys thought about this album in the comments, especially if you're a big metalhead, metalcore fan. I'm curious to kind of see the consensus. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can like the video if you liked it. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff like this. And that's it. So, thank you guys for watching. Love, you mean it. See ya. Bye.